This crab can stretch 12 feet across. It is so big it can wrap its legs around a car. But size isn't the problem. The problem is that nothing in its design suggests it should be able to hold itself up at all. And yet, it has been doing exactly that for millions of years. Let's start with the part your brain refuses to accept. The size. The Japanese spider crab has the largest leg span of any arthropod on Earth. Claw to claw, it can reach 12 feet across. That's wider than a small car. If it stood in your living room, its legs could stretch from one wall to the other. Its body, however, isn't enormous by ocean standards. Roughly 40 pounds. Which almost makes it worse. All of that mass is suspended on 8 impossibly thin stilts. It looks like someone built a walking coat rack, then gave it claws. They live where almost no one will ever see them, between 300 and 600 meters down, 1 to 2,000 feet below the surface. This is the ocean's twilight zone. Too deep for sunlight to matter, too shallow to feel completely alien, but far enough that we can pretend nothing down there concerns us. The water hovers around 10 degrees Celsius, cold, high pressure, perpetual dusk, and down there, moving slowly across the seafloor, is a creature as wide as your bedroom. Acting like this is completely normal. On paper, it's just another arthropod. Exoskeleton, joints, cold-blooded. You've seen crabs before, but when you scale that blueprint up to 12 feet, things start to feel unstable. An exoskeleton is rigid armor. It doesn't stretch, so every time this animal grows, it must crawl out of its own body. It cracks open its shell and pulls itself free. Japanese spider crabs continue molting for decades. They don't hit a fixed adult size and stop. They simply continue, year after year, shell after shell, each time slightly larger, each time slightly heavier. Some individuals are believed to live for over 100 years, which means for an entire human lifetime, this animal just keeps getting bigger. That's not a growth phase, that's a process. Now look at the legs. Each one is packed with joints, dozens of small hinges that must coordinate perfectly, or the entire structure collapses. If you built this shape out of steel, engineers would call it unstable, too thin, too long, too flexible. But the crab isn't concerned with engineering principles. It just walks, slowly, methodically. It does not chase prey. It scavenges. It drifts across the seafloor, sensing anything dead or weakened. Fish carcasses, mollusks, other invertebrates. When it finds something, those claws, large, deliberate, close with precision. It does not rush. It does not panic. It simply takes what the ocean leaves behind. And then there is the face. The mouth is tucked beneath plates and spines, always moving, always testing the water. The eyes are small, mounted on stalks, set wide apart. It looks like it is constantly peering around a corner it never quite reaches. If you designed a deep-sea creature for a horror game, you would probably tone this down to make it believable. So why does this exist? Why did evolution settle on a 12-foot spider balanced on stilts? The short answer is this: evolution did not design it. It simply never told it to stop. In the deep ocean, competition is limited. There are no crowded coral reefs, no constant swarms of fast, aggressive predators. Food arrives slowly. Carcasses drift down from above, like gravity itself is feeding the seafloor. In that world, size is rarely punished. Longer legs mean a wider reach. A larger body stores more energy, more eggs, more time between meals. There was no strong boundary preventing it from becoming larger. So generation after generation, it extended. A little longer, a little heavier, a little stranger, until the result feels less like an animal and more like a glitch in the system. This is what happens when natural selection operates for millions of years without a strict design limit. It does not aim for elegance, it aims for survival, and survival does not always look balanced. Sometimes it looks like a walking error message. Occasionally, this creature crosses into our world. Shallower individuals caught in fishing nets off the coast of Japan. They appear in markets, in aquariums, in photographs that circulate online with disbelief. People gather around the glass trying to process how a real animal can resemble a movie monster. For local communities, it is not a myth. It is simply part of the ecosystem, a seasonal resource, something you respect because the ocean provides it. But viewed without context, it feels misplaced. A crustacean that can live for a century, continue growing that entire time, and calmly patrol the dark on 12-foot stilts, waiting for the rest of the ocean to fall at its feet. There are many strange facts about this creature. However, there is one detail about the Japanese spider crab that rarely makes headlines, and it might be the most unsettling part of all. They do not just walk across the seafloor exposed, they hide, but not by blending in naturally, but by actively covering themselves with other living things. Sponges, algae, fragments of coral, small organisms that grow across their shell like a moving reef. Young spider crabs are especially deliberate about this. They pluck pieces of sponge from the seafloor with their claws. They trim them to fit, and then they press them onto specialized hooked hairs along their carapace. The material anchors itself, and over time it begins to grow. What you are looking at is not just a crab, it is a crab wearing a living disguise, a portable ecosystem, a walking patch of seafloor. From a distance, predators don't see 12 feet of legs. They see debris, rock, reef, until it moves. Camouflage is common in the ocean. But the Japanese spider crab doesn't just rely on coloration. It engineers concealment. It alters its own outline. It erases its silhouette. And when an animal that large chooses not to be seen, that's when things get interesting. Because size usually means dominance, visibility, presence. But in the deep ocean, survival isn't about being impressive, it's about being ignored. So imagine something the width of a small car, covered in sponges and coral fragments, walking silently across the dark seafloor, looking less like an animal and more like a piece of the ocean floor that accidentally grew legs. The strangest part is this: as they grow larger and older, many Japanese spider crabs decorate themselves less. Their sheer size becomes defense enough. At that point, camouflage is optional, which means the decoration phase is not permanent. It is strategic, temporary, intentional. This is not random behavior. It is adaptive intelligence expressed through instinct. An animal that large, that patient, that long-lived, choosing whether or not to erase its own outline. And that may be more unsettling than the legs. If this is normal evolution, then perhaps our definition of normal is the problem. Because in the deep ocean, there are no aesthetic standards, no symmetry requirements, no design committees, only survival. And survival, given enough time, can stretch itself into shapes that feel impossible. The Japanese spider crab should not be this big, and yet it is, which makes you wonder, what else is still walking across the seafloor that we simply haven't seen yet? This is just one of the ocean's quiet anomalies. If a crab can grow into a 12-foot spider balanced on stilts, wait until you meet the shark that looks like it was never finished. Nothing is normal. Subscribe if you want more proof.